We'll leave it to Linda Styer to start us off with a geographical reference regarding her homeland of Singapore. Did you know Singapore is the same distance from Ohio to Vancouver? Linda lived most of her life as a ward of the state, and she purchased her visa days before her 21st birthday. She recalls fond memories of her father.
When I was very young, my father loved to eat seafood. And on Sundays, we would go to the market and we would buy fresh live crabs. We'd buy the crabs and then we'd go to the seashore and he would let go a few crabs. Now, I was about 5 or 6 years old, and people who have worked with me on grant proposals will laugh when they hear me say this. At that young age, I said to my father, "Papa, wouldn't it save money if you just bought fewer crabs? So you obviously you bought too many crabs and you have to let them go. We could save money if you bought fewer crabs." And he said to me, "Do you like eating crabs?" And I said, "Yes." "Do you want to have crabs next month or when you grow up?" I said, "Of course." If you want to have crabs later in your lifetime, you have to make sure that they will always be there.
Giving back to the community is all that Linda knows. She understands the need to ask the difficult questions to find long-term solutions. She often questioned herself on how she wanted to share what privileges she afforded herself in her life.
So when I was in college, I donated to an organization called Save the Children. You might have heard about it. You know, when I was a college student, you give $20 a month and it would help somebody in another country. And as a college student, I thought, I can handle $20. It's something I learned from my father. So I did that. And one college break, I decided to go to the country where my donations were going, and that was in Thailand. So I traveled to northern Thailand to a place called Sakhon-Nakhon, and there was a huge refugee camp north of Sakhon-Nakhon by the Mekong River. And there were priests who took me to the Mekong River. And the reason it was important to see that is that when the refugees were fleeing, the Khmer Rouge would shoot at them and the river would turn red from the blood. And the refugee camp had thousands of people there. There was a family of, say, 14 or maybe 2 families who lived in a shack that was maybe 10 by 10 feet big. And when they wanted food or water, they had to bribe the guards at the refugee camp. And that taught me that we have a lot. We often think that we don't have enough, but we do have enough. And it also taught me to reach out, that every little bit we give helps.
With every little bit she gave, her heart would make more space for love. Her gratitude would know no bounds, and that heart would always lead her back to home.
My favorite travel with Linda was when we went to her home island of Singapore. And she was so comfortable there. Not that she is uncomfortable in the United States, but you could see her background living in the places where she had been a child and the friends that she had known as a child. It was very dramatic to see her that way. It was a very special experience.
She's traveled the world and always keeps her mind on the youth in the area, inspired by their needs and their ambitions. She finds a way to channel their talent.
One day I had this bright idea, and I have to thank Brian Frederick, because I was always going up to him and saying, "I have this idea." And he would look at me and go, "Oh, all right." So I had this idea that what if we could reframe the world for kids in alternative schools? What do I mean by that? Give them a disposable camera. This was before everyone had a cell phone. Remember we used to have those cameras you could buy and throw away? Yeah. So I went to Father in Oberlin. I went to Betsy Mandarin and I said, the alternative school is in Oberlin and you have a photography class. How can we make this happen? Give cameras to the youth and have them look at their world in a different way and also show us how they see the world. So she said, great.
It's your unique perspective on collaboration that brings us together as a community, and for that, we are thankful. Linda Styer, 2023 Leadership Lorain County Excellence in Leadership Honoree.